Some have gone without sewage and electricity and water. Those are just some of the shocking conditions hundreds of people are living under.
The Liberty County community was housing undocumented migrants.
There's a lot of ramshackle shanties, people living in tents.
Do you feel like safe?
Some calling it a breeding ground for the cartel.
We're going to have legislative hearings that will surface the information about whether or not those allegations are true or not, and if they're true, what we can do to stop it.
Are you directly targeting undocumented migrants to provide permanent housing?
No, that's not correct.
Colony Ridge is the development company by brothers John Harris and Trey Harris. They had the idea to buy over 33,000 acres of wetlands north of Houston in Liberty County, Texas, with the idea of turning these into lots and market it to undocumented people. How did they do that? Easy. Advertise that there is no need for Social Security or a bank loan. All you need was a down payment and a tax ID number. Saying things like, "Are you tired of toxic renting practices?" They promised an essential part of the American dream, a home. But little did these people know about the absolute terrors that awaited them. The what one would call predatory marketing practices by Colony Ridge is called Houston Terrenos or Terrenos Houston, which, by the way, I once applied for before I knew all of this. Why? Because I live pretty close to the area and I wanted to get into editing for social media. So if you like the fancy little clickety clackety stuff I've done so far, hit me up, and your videos could also look like this. Or if you liked it so far, make sure to put your juicy little finger over that subscribe button. Back to it, the social media campaign is a law. All their ads are in Spanish with young, very attractive Latina women around their early 20s and allegedly some still in high school. They usually give tours of the lands and their fun little attractions and benefits, such as like this carnival, or these food trucks, or this very nice shopping center that is actually 40 minutes away from the actual area. How do I know this? Because I've worked in this area. It is nowhere near where they are marketing that it is. Now, to remind you, this entire ad campaign is clearly marketed towards Latinos and Spanish-speaking people, and yet the two guys who own this whole thing are what? Now, for the next thing I'm about to tell you, I can't confirm, but there's claims that John Harris actually hires girls straight out of high school and makes them real estate agents. This is straight up bullshit. Speaking of shit, let's talk about the actual issues. The people who bought land here were told it was a no flood zone. No flood zone, my ass. They have a terrible drainage system that is not only causing floods, but is raising concerns for the quality of drinking water in the area. Just take a look at this picture. Strong amounts of fecal matter have been found in the flood water. Colony Ridge has dumped over 48,000 gallons of fecal contaminated water into streams that have potential to flow into Lake Houston, the primary source of drinking water for all of Houston. The roads are filled with potholes causing accidents. Trash is everywhere along the streets, and there is dead animals everywhere, which I know what you're thinking, oh, roadkill is just kind of part of Texas, it's sad, but it happens. No! You are wrong. Just listen for a second. Multiple people have spoken up about dead animals appearing in their yard. This woman here states that she was in the neighborhood park when she found the head of a skinned dog carcass just on the side of the park on a tree. I literally cannot show you this image. I did a reverse Google image search, nothing came up. I tried to see if I could find a dog coat like that on Amazon for sale. Nothing. As far as I can tell, it's real. Some people have stated that all of these dog carcasses are showing up because people at the actual company, Terrenos Houston Colony Ridge, practice santeria or brujeria, which involves animal sacrifices. Wait, hold up, let's pause. First, these are actually two different practices, and sure, animal sacrifices can be involved, but it's not usually dogs or pets. It's like people's goats or chickens, and they usually use the whole animal, and a lot more time and respect goes into the sacrifice. People who actually practice these things definitely would not do this. If you ask me, this is a scare tactic, trying to intimidate the people who live in the area in order to get more money out of them. So let's say you buy your land here and you're trying to make your monthly payment. Well, in order to actually pay, you are persuaded to drop off your payment in a money order via this drop box right here in their office. No transaction receipt of any sort is given. Some people will keep the money order stub, some do not. So there will be no bank statement saying you paid Colony Ridge. You have no proof to show that they took your money. Beyond sus if you ask me. Now, Every other video you will watch about the situation has a really weird stance about this, saying things like, oh well, if they're marketing towards illegal immigrants, it's good that these things are happening to them because they shouldn't be in the country. It is the largest growing area for undocumented people in the US currently, and people are mad about that for various different reasons. Number one being people who just believe immigrants shouldn't be here at all, forgetting that the whole thing was actually made by two white men. No one should be living in these conditions, and we are all immigrants on native land. Lots of videos will go into how this place is a crime-ridden, cartel-infested area. This lady right here from the New York Post talks about how she visited the place and that it was an area where people would let their pit bulls off their leash when she came to approach them. Which, I don't know, rubbed me the wrong way. It felt a little white lady for me, so I was like, I don't think this is right. Now, am I saying that there is no crime in this place? Of course not. Do I think it's entirely Colony's Ridge fault that there's a lot of crime there? No, but I do think they play a giant part of it. I also think a giant part of it is the fact that the city doesn't currently have a police chief. There is so much more I haven't covered in this video that this will have to be a two-parter. I wanted to get you guys to understand the situation, and in part 2 we're going to look at how the media is using this area to make points on why we should close our borders, and the heavy hints of racism in all of this. Also, I'm heading up there myself so I can see firsthand what it's like. There's a reason I'm making this video, and it's because it's in my backyard. I live not too far from this area. I have family and friends who have purchased lands from Terrenos Houston, and I'm so tired of predatory sales practices towards immigrants. The story is getting twisted by too many people who rather focus on documentation versus the actual well-being and safety of people. I have a special little gift for anyone who has made it this far, along with many various memes about this whole situation. I also found a little bop. If you want to watch part 2, make sure you subscribe and leave a comment. Any personal anecdotes about this situation, please let the people know. And also, while you're at it, please go check out this website around here down below where you could be updated on the situation more. And with that, here's me attempting to be a YouTuber.
I wanted some land, but instead I got scammed by Terrenos Houston. They said it's happy here, but this is what I found. Traffic, snakes, floods, oh, and poop, water, potholes, bullets, and accidents. I wanted some land, but instead I got scammed by Terrenos Houston.
Find out more at TerrenosHoustonLawsuit.com.